Hello, sixth graders. I'm going to walk you through the Chapter 13 practice test. You should have already had this completed, so you should just be checking over your answers, and maybe you can see where you might have made mistakes as we go along before we take the Chapter 13 test on bigideasmath.com. All right, first question says, find the slope and the y-intercept. Well, in this equation, the number in front of the x would be your slope, so the slope is 6. The number here would be your y-intercept, and don't forget the negative. It would be -5 would be your y-intercept. So slope of 6, y-intercept of -5. For this one, your slope would be this number in front of the x, so it would be -1/2. And then your y-intercept would be 3.5. Okay, these two down here were a little bit trickier. First, I had to solve for y because that's the only way I'm going to be able to pick out my slope and my y-intercept. So to do that, I had to undo this subtracting 1 by adding 1 to both sides. And as long as I do it to both sides, it's still going to stay equal. Now 1 and 8.4 are like terms. That's why I wrote that underneath there. So then that simplifies to be y equals 3x plus 9.4. So that means my slope again is that number in front of the x, and my y-intercept would be 9.4. For number 4, kind of the same thing. I have to subtract away this adding 4.3 by subtracting 4.3 to the other side. Now you'll notice I wrote this at the end because 0.1x and minusing 4.3, those are not like terms, so I can't put them together. So my simplified slope-intercept form would be y equals 0.1x minus 4.3. So that means my slope would be 0.1, and my y-intercept, of course, would be -4.3 because it's a minus 4.3, which means it's a -4.3. Number 5 says graph the linear equation. Now, start the chapter, we learned how to graph the linear equation by using an x-y table and picking 3 values and then putting them in for x to see what the coordinates would be. This another way that we learned how to graph the linear equation, I think is the easier way, is to use the slope and the y-intercept. So for this one, it says the y-intercept is 4, so that means it crosses the y-axis here at 4. And it has a slope of 2. Well, what that slope of 2 means is I go up 2 and over 1. So up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and that would be my graph for this equation. So then I would just draw a straight line through those points, and that would be the graph for that equation. Number 6 has a slope of -1/2 and a y-intercept of -5. So I start with the y-intercept of -5. It crosses here at -5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now as a slope of -1/2, I always put the negative with the top number because I find it easier to do it that way. So that would mean I would go down 1 and then over 2, down 1 over 2, and then that would be where my line would be for this equation. So then I just draw a straight line through those points, and that would be the graph for that equation. Number 7 has a y-intercept here of 9, so that's my first point. Now it looks like it doesn't have a slope, but actually the number that's here that's not written there would be a 1. So it has a slope of -1. Well, what that means is a -1 over 1. So that means I go down 1 over 1 because the -1 means I go down and then over 1. Down 1 over 1. So there would be the equation for that line. Number 8 is y equals 4, and what that means is you're going to have a line at 4, but it's going to be a horizontal line because y always has to equal 4. No matter what your x coordinate is, your y always has to be 4, so it would be a horizontal line at 4. Numbers 9 and 10 say to find the slope. So I have to find 2 things, the rise and the run. Well, for this one, I rise up 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be my top number. And I run backwards 1, 2, 3, which would give me -3. Now, one thing to remember when you're taking the Big Ideas Math textbook is they will often want you to put the negative on top. It really doesn't matter where you put the negative, but just make sure the negative is with one of those numbers. Question number 10, finding the slope. I start here at the lower number and I rise up 1, 2, 3. And then I run over 1, 2, 3. Well, 3 over 3 would simplify to be just 1. So I would enter my slope in as just 1 for number 10. Now 11 and 12 are a little bit trickier, so that's why I included these graphs that you can use. Remember, you can use graph paper as well. So my first coordinate here is -2, 3, so I'm going to put that point on there. And then my next point is 0, 4, so that point would be right there. I could put the next two on there, but all I really need is these 2 points to figure out the slope. So I rise up 1, so that gives me a rise of 1, and I move to the right 2, so that means my slope has to be 1/2 for number 11. Number 12, I've got a few points. Now I kind of like to avoid the negatives if I can, so I'm just going to skip over the first one and just put these 2 points on there. You'll still get the same answer if you use the first points, but I just like to avoid the negatives when I can. So my first point I'm going to graph on here is 0, -1. And then my second point is going to be over 1, up 2. So then to find the slope of this point, I would rise up 1, 2, 3, and then I would go over 1. So the slope here could just be simplified to be 3 for this one. Now, a lot of people had questions on which lines are parallel, which lines are perpendicular, and this is a little bit tricky. So what I did is I first found the slope of each of these lines. So the first line, the red line, I chose 2 points. I actually chose this one just because it's a little bit easier. I rise up 1 and then over 2, which means the red line has a slope of 1/2. The blue line was really tricky to find the slope of, but I found that this point works really well, and then this point actually works way better than the points that they gave me. So then I rose up 1 and I went over 4, which means my slope is 1/4 for the blue line. The green line, I thought that this point and this point was much easier to use, so I rose up 1 and over 2. Now, if I'm answering which lines are parallel, well, I know the parallel lines have to have the same slope, so that means the red line and the green line have to be parallel to each other. Now, my second question is which line is perpendicular? Well, I know that black line has to be perpendicular, but I have to see which line it's perpendicular to. So I picked 2 points, and I found that this point here and this point were the easiest ones to use. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go back 1, which gives me a slope of 4 over -1. Well, for lines to be perpendicular, that means they have to have opposite reciprocal slopes. These two would be opposites of each other, and they would be reciprocals of each other, so the blue line and the black line have to be perpendicular to each other. Question 14 says, write the equation in slope-intercept form. So the 2 things I have to find here would be my slope and my y-intercept. I'm going to start with my y-intercept because that's the easiest. This blue line crosses here at 0, so my y-intercept would be 0. My slope would be up 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3. Well, 3 over 3 can be simplified to just be 1x. And again, since it's adding 0, you can just forget that part and just write y equals 1x as your slope-intercept form for that equation. Question 15, it crosses the y-axis here at -2, so my y-intercept would be -2. My slope would be up 1 over 2, which means the slope would be 1/2. So y equals 1/2 x plus a -2, or I could write that as 1/2 x minus 2. It would mean the exact same thing. Question 16, it has a y-intercept of 2, and now you notice that it doesn't have a slope that I can do a rise of because the rise would be 0, run would be 1. So that means my slope actually for this one would be 0. Well then, to simplify that, because I know anything times 0 is 0, just means I would have y equals 2 would be the answer for the slope-intercept form for number 16. Number 17, it crosses the y-axis here at 0, so that's my y-intercept. It has a slope of up 1, and then I'm moving backwards, so that's where the negative is going to be, 1, 2, 3, so 1 over -3, or you could also write that as 1 or -1 over 3x, but again, you can forget about that part, y equals -1/3 x. Question number 18 says write an equation of a line that passes through those points. Well, I see that it has a y-intercept here of 8, and then my next point is over 1 up 10. So now I can write the equation because I can pick out the two things I need. Well, my y-intercept is obviously 8, so that would be that part taken care of. My slope would be up 2 over 1, or that can just be simplified as 2. So the equation for the line going through those 2 points should be y equals 2x plus 8. Some real life problems here. It says the number y of new vocabulary words you learn after x weeks is represented by the equation y equals 15x. We'll graph the equation. Well, because I have to rise 15 and then go over 1, I just decided to go by 15s on this graph. So obviously 0, 0 would be my first point because plus 0 would be on there. It's not written there, but it's going to be that as your y-intercept. And then I go up 15 and then over 1, up 15, over 1. That would be what my graph would look like for that equation. Now, what does that slope means? That means that you are learning 15 new words each week. So 15 words per week. I'm writing really sloppily here, but hopefully you're listening so you know what I'm saying. Now this question, how many words would you learn after 5 weeks? Well, that means I just have to put 5 in for x in that original equation. So 15 times 5 means that you would learn 75 words. Part D says, how many words do you learn after 6 weeks, then 4 weeks? Well, 15 times 6 means that I learned 90 words that week. 4 weeks, 15 times 4 means that I learned 60 words that week. Well, how many more words did I learn? Well, 90 minus 60 gives me 30 more words. Number 20 says, the cost in dollars of one person buying admission to a fair and going on X rides is y equals 1x plus 7. Remember, there is a 1 in front of there. It's just not written there. Graph the equation. Well, I see the y-intercept is 7, so that means it's going to cross here at 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and has a slope of 1. That means I go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. That would be what my graph would look like for this situation. Now it says interpret the y-intercept and the slope. Well, the y-intercept is 7. And what that means is it costs you $7 to get into the fair. 1 means that it's going to cost you $1 for each ride in the fair. Last question. A construction crew is extending a highway sound barrier that is 13 miles long. The crew builds 1/2 mile per week. Write an equation that represents the length y in miles of the barrier after x weeks. Well, it would be y equals 1/2 because they're building 1/2 mile per week times x, that's my slope, plus 13 because it's going to be 13 miles long. That would be the answer to question number 21. Thank you for watching.